Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're tuning in from. This is our Thankful Thursdays Freedom Call. And if you are new, if you're seeing this for the first time, put in the comments where you're from. I would love to know where you're from. So, in our group Spiritual Money Mind Shift, we are breaking down the barriers that keep us as slaves in debt. We are claiming our financial freedom. And I've had questions about I'm afraid to invest. I'm afraid to ask for that raise. I'm afraid to do something that I haven't done before. We get stuck in our comfort zone. What is going to release us from that? So, we have been talking about fear throughout this month. I'm going to share a few things, and I want to let you know right up front some of these things may be a hard lesson. Some of these things may hit you in a way that is uncomfortable. And if you're not ready for that, go ahead and turn this off, come back to it later. But if you are ready, this is going to change you because I have gone through these hard things myself. And if you're going to stay comfortable, you're going to stay where you are. But it takes pressing through, that fear. So before we start, we need to lay the groundwork. We need to lay the foundation. Again, fear. Fear comes up so much. Fear is the root of so many things that keep a person in debt. Fear is the root of so many things that cause them to get debt in the first place. Fear is a marketing tactic that marketers use to get you to buy. They get the FOMO, fear of missing out. They get the, oh, if you don't buy this product, you're going to miss out on this. You're going to miss out on health. You're going to miss out on wealth. You're going to miss out on living, on fun, on something. The marketers tap into that fear. And they do it so well. We need to find out how to fight back, how to punch fear in the face, how to move, and how to take control over our lives. So, to start, I'm going to answer a question that multiple people have asked. Are you Jewish? And if you know me, if you've been in the group, you have heard me reference the creator, the author of the best success book ever written, the Bible. And if you are an atheist, if you're a Buddhist, if you're Hindu, you're welcome. There is no judgment here. But this is my background. This is where I come from. And this book that I reference has proven reliable for thousands and thousands of years. This book, the Bible, it's not a religious book. The Bible is not a religious book. The Bible is a historical account of a group of people. And this historical account has been cared for by what we know today as the Jews. The Jews from the tribe of Judah. Where are the 11 other tribes? Okay, there are the northern kingdom in the Bible, the southern kingdom. We don't know what happened to one of the kingdoms. They're dispersed. People don't know who they are, but we do know the Jewish people. And the Jewish people are responsible for keeping the book together. So whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Jew, whether you're an archaeologist that likes history, we can talk about history. We can talk about the biblical accounts, the amazing book that references health, wealth, relationships, what to do, what not to do. It's got murder, it's got incest, it's got rape, and it doesn't condone those things. But these are real historical accounts that we still see headlines today of wars and So this reference book, this historical account of a people chosen by God to carry a message, and the message is still relevant today. So let's go to the other side. Religion. There are, if you don't know what religion means, I taught Latin for a while. I had taught elementary and high school students multiple subjects. Religion, as in return. Ligaen, it comes from the root for ligature. If you have ligature marks on your wrists, it's because you were bound. Religion actually means return to bondage. And there are many designer labels for different religions. Baptist, Lutheran, the multiple varieties of Lutheran, Missouri Synod, Catholic, Protestant, Church of Christ, the multiple different churches of Christ. You have all sorts of people that have took this book and designed a label to put constraints on it and really have used it to control people. So this is not saying, don't hear what I am not saying. When I married my husband, he had grown up Catholic. I'm not saying anything bad against any human who is searching for God, no matter what label they choose to have, what group they choose to congregate in. I visit my friends at Baptist churches, at various fellowships. I have been to Jewish services as well. So if you choose a label, that's awesome. I have been removing those labels for myself. That is my choice. That has benefited me. I don't have a label. However, I do joke when people have asked me, are you Jewish? I say, well, I follow a Jewish rabbi, and I do follow a Jewish rabbi. His name is Yeshua. Most Americans know him as Jesus. So if you follow a Jewish rabbi, does that make you Jewish? Do you follow a Jewish rabbi? Do you call him Jesus? He was a Jewish rabbi. Again, he was not about labels. He wasn't about labels. So this is a brief background of where my belief system lies. And again, my belief system is just the Bible. I want to go to the pure word without man-made ideas to add on top of the Bible. And I'm not putting any Christian religions down. The Jews as well have various sects within Judaism. S-E-C-T-S, not sex, although sex is very important in the Bible. God created it for a reason, for a union, the bride and the bridegroom. So they added a lot of items and requirements for the people, extra things to follow. Does that kind of sound like bondage? Like we're going to add more things to the Bible that you need to do, and then we're going to add a few more things, and their heart was in the right place. They did not want to mess up the instructions that God had sent. So they're like, well, if we add the fence laws, then we are likely to be pretty safe. If we add those extra things, we're not going to go there. And hey, why don't we add another fence around the fence laws? Again, great intentions, but if you don't know what God is asking and instructing and his desires for you, and you are just learning about the extra man-made constraints, you're missing something. I was missing something. So I started from the beginning in the Bible, and I had already read the Bible multiple times, but I had read the Bible from cover to cover again with fresh eyes, and I decided I'm going to start in Genesis, and I am going to follow the instructions. I'm going to erase my mind from my preconceived notions. And what did I find? I found that God gave abundance. I found that Abraham, the father of Israel and the father of the Muslims, in their belief system as well. He was a rich, wealthy businessman. Isaac, Jacob, they were business owners, and God increased their wealth. Right? This is not a prosperity gospel. They had hard lessons. They put a lot of work into it, and they were human, and they messed up. And even Abraham, he lied twice. He said his wife was his sister because of some things that were going on. He had fear, but despite his fear, God still blessed him. God knows where we're at. God understands our human limitations, and he likes to stretch us beyond where we're comfortable. So fear, again, where does fear come from? Does it come from God? Or does it come from something that sets itself up against God? You need to recognize those two things. So fear, is it from God or is it from someone else? And how do we know? We read the scriptures. We read the scriptures and see that God says, perfect love casts out fear. And where is perfect love? Perfect love is in God. He casts out fear. Many times in the Old Testament and the New Testament, I'm a full Bible person. I read the whole entire thing because it is a congruent story. Do not fear. Don't fear. Be courageous. All throughout the Bible, this is what it tells us. Why does the Bible over and over and over again say, do not fear, be courageous? Because God knows we have fears. He understands that. He knows us inside and out. He would not say, don't fear, if humans did not have a problem with fear. So, welcome, Gloria. I see, people joining in, popping into the Zoom meeting. So good to see you, Gloria. I'm glad you could join us. So again, we are talking about fear and overcoming fear. So when we realize that God has set himself up to conquer our fears, God has set himself up, the creator, he created us with free will. And when fear comes into our presence, we have the choice to agree with fear or agree with God. We have free will. All throughout the Bible, God keeps reminding us, hey, I know fear is going to come against you. Don't fear. Be courageous. Trust in me. Perfect love drives out fear. But what do we tend to choose? Some things are easier. Some things we have learned are no longer fearful. How have we learned that something is not fearful? Well, we went ahead and did it. And then we realized, oh, that's not so bad. I didn't die. A lot of people have heart palpitations if they have to raise their hand or speak in a group. But once you do it a few times and you get in practice, then you realize, okay, I'm not going to die. I did it. I conquered that fear. Every time you conquer fear, you build your own muscles of conquering fear. You recognize that fear is not something that can hold you back if you make the choice. All right, now here's another thing about fear. We said fear is not from God. Fear is from something else that sets itself up against God. If you believe in spiritual warfare, if you believe that the physical realm is a representation of the spiritual realm, there's a spiritual war going on, just as there are physical wars going on, just as we war within ourselves. Should I do that? Should I not do that? I don't know. It's going to take extra work. Maybe I'm just going to sit in front of the TV tonight and grab that pint of Ben & Jerry's and just not worry about my problems. Okay, avoidance and procrastination is another way of dealing with fear, but it's not going to help you. So when fear comes along, you will choose who you serve. In Jeremiah 29, 11 through 13, God says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope in the future. And then you will come to me and I will find you. That's what God says. But you need to make the choice. And after he says that, after he says, here are my plans to prosper you, he gives a scenario of what will happen if you don't follow him, and a scenario of what will happen if you do. He's like, here are all the blessings that I want to give you, but you have free will. You can follow God, you can follow perfect love, you can follow his instructions, or you can follow fear. And really just about everything that we go through has a root in fear. And if you're listening to this, you can write down, you can say, no, here's a problem I have, and that has nothing to do with fear. Write that down, and I will take the time to answer you back. You cannot serve two masters. That is something that the Bible says. You cannot serve two masters. You're going to hate one and love the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. Again, another biblical scripture. Mammon is often translated as money. You cannot serve God and money, but really mammon is a god of prosperity. There are many, many gods. And really what the scripture is saying, you can't serve two gods. And fear is a god. Now you might like, what? Fear is a god? No, it's an emotion. If you're looking at things spiritually, if you are not worshiping God, the creator, whoever you may call God or the creator, then you're going to be worshiping something else. We were created to worship, and we will worship something. Whether we worship ourselves, whether we worship looking good, whether we worship TV, whether we bow down to our phone and give our phone attention all the time and neglect the people around us because we're bowing down to our phone. Do you realize you're bowing down to your phone physically? You're bowing down to it. I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that. And I catch myself. I take walks in the morning and I see the high school students either going to school or coming out of school. I've got 80% of them bowing down to their phones. They're bowing. That's bowing. They're literally bowing. And they are sacrificing relationships. They're sacrificing time in order to bow down to something else that is not serving them. And when you give in to fear, what are you sacrificing? If you are afraid to take a chance and invest 10, 20, 50 bucks in an investment, maybe start a brokerage account, you are sacrificing potential cash flow to the god of fear. If you are afraid to ask for that raise, you are sacrificing more financial abundance, or the possibility of financial abundance that God wants to give you, because that's the type of God he is. You are sacrificing that to the god of fear. If you're afraid to step out for a new job interview, you're sacrificing your future to the god of fear. You're sacrificing being comfortable to the god of fear. There's many gods. The Hindus name thousands and thousands of God. They have God, the god of fear, the god of destruction. They have the god of prosperity. The god of Molech is talked about a lot in the Bible, where parents sacrifice their children to the god Molech for prosperity, for convenience and prosperity. They sacrifice their children. And I'm not talking about, finding out you're pregnant and saying now is not the time. I'm going to get rid of this innocent life because it's an inconvenience and I didn't plan for it. I'm talking about parents that drop their kids off 40, 50, 60 hours a week so that both parents can work. And that's expensive. All right? So we need to think about what we're doing, and it's so easy to justify sacrificing these things by saying, well, I just we need to work. Both of us need to work. Um no, 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 you don't. What do you need? Everything we need is in God. And if you need help convincing yourself, say this prayer: everything I need is in you, God. Everything I need is in you, God. We don't need the brand new $1,000, $2,000 iPhones every year to survive. We don't need, believe it or not, we don't need to go out to eat to survive. We don't need McDonald's. We don't need fast food. We don't even need to go to a restaurant to survive. We don't need even a television. We like those things, but think about what you're sacrificing to get them. And if you can afford them, that's great. But if your lifestyle and your choices and you're sacrificing to the God of fear because everybody else has these things, I need these things too. I'm going to feel left out. I have a fear of missing out. I have a fear of not looking good. I have a fear that my children might get teased because we don't have a TV and a computer in every room. You got to adjust your priorities to the God that wants to give you abundance, to the God that wants to give you great relationships, the things that matter, the things that really matter. Don't let fear influence your decisions. We want to be clear-minded. So this hits home. I had to make the same decision. I tried to work when my child was young, and when we bought our house, we did buy below our means just in case we lost an income. So that helped. Otherwise, we would have had to have sold our house and moved to someplace smaller. But we did make the choice to live on one income. And it was not as traumatic as people make it out to be. So we were living on one income, but we also had one car. We also saved on gas because two people weren't driving to work. Also saved on clothes because I didn't need to buy the professional clothing that I would need. Also, I was home to make dinners. If we were both working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, where is there time to make dinner? We would be spending, I know people that are spending $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 a month because they don't make any meals at home. You know, the numbers, sometimes if you add them up, you can actually save money and get out of debt by reducing to one income and having a stay-at-home parent. It doesn't have to be the mom. I knew stay-at-home dads. They can take care of the food and the shopping and the child care. Child care is expensive. So again, take a look at your priorities. If you want to be financially free, it is possible. And if you are comfortable in the position you're in, if you are afraid to give up that second job, is that God's voice or fear's voice? Now, please listen to what I'm saying. I'm not telling you to quit your job. If you're a husband and wife and you have kids and both of you work, I am not telling you to quit your job. I'm telling you that's what I did. I quit my job. We had one income. It works for some people. But what I am telling you is listen to God's voice. Does He want you to have a parent home raising the children? Or does He want you to pass off your children to somebody else that maybe you don't really know the values of, that you're just looking for the cheapest childcare place because it's expensive? What is the voice of God telling you? And the voice of God is always saying, do not fear, do not fear, do not fear. Perfect love drives out fear. Be courageous. So I will continue the series on fear for the whole month of October. And honestly, Halloween is coming up, and I didn't even plan to have fear as the subject for this month. It just came about. But I know that you have something you're afraid to do. I know you have something that you think about that you push aside because it makes you nervous. You can't see how it could possibly happen. You're afraid to try. What if I fail? What if I try it and fail? Well, if you don't try it, you've already failed. If you don't try it, you've already failed. And what if you do fail? If you try it and you fail, then you celebrate because you learned, hey, that way didn't work. Now you get to try a different way. Do not let fear hold you back. Whatever you are most fearful of, think about it. Think about your goals. Think about your dreams. Think about all of the things you want. God wants to give you all of them. He wants to give you abundance. That's why He put a desire in your heart. Your desire reveals what He designed you for. So think about what you want. Think about your goals. And a lot of people say, but I want all of them, and I want all of them at once. And I can relate. I hear that a lot. But let's just start. When you write down your goals on a piece of paper, you're not going to write 500 things at once. You're going to write down one letter on the first line. Then you're going to write another letter. And then you're going to write a few more letters. So and I wrote freedom. It's a little sloppy there. I think we all want freedom. But whatever your goals are, you're going to have to start by writing one single word. And in the same way, when you go after those goals, you're going to have to start with the first one. And maybe that first goal needs to be the one that scares you the most. Action is a way of punching fear in the face. When you feel that fear, stand up and drive right into it. Fear is a bully. And when you stand up to bullies, they back down. And it is a glorious feeling. So that is it, short and sweet for tonight. We will continue and delve into this a little bit more. But here's my challenge for you. Write down your desires, write down your goals, because your desires reveal the design and how the Creator designed you. And then choose one that scares you. You can do the easy ones, that's fine, but choose one that scares you. Pick the one that scares you. Let me know in the group if you picked your goal. You don't even have to reveal it if you don't want to. But choose the goal that scares you and start taking some steps towards it. And be okay if you fail, because failure is actually progress, and failure is something to celebrate, because you learned, hey, this didn't work, but I gained new information, and you didn't die. You didn't die. So that's it. Choose your goals, write them down, pick the one that scares you, start taking some steps. And here's a final secret that has helped me. Sometimes the energy that we get, our heart beats, we're like, I'm scared, I have fear. Put a switch in your mind and say, wow, this is so cool that I have energy to get that goal accomplished. I have energy instead of saying, oh my gosh, I'm fearful and I'm afraid and I'm nervous. That's energy. Now you just flip the script. You trust in God. Perfect love will flip that script and you'll be like, how cool. I have all this extra energy and I'm not going to call it fear anymore. I'm going to call it excitement because I am moving in the face of fear and fear is not stopping me. So thank you. Thank you for joining me. The recording will be up within 24 hours. Please put a comment if this resonated in any way and let me know if you're going to go punch fear in the face.
It's so funny because I've been reading a book and it talks about goal, it talks about failure and all that. And when I hear you talking to me, I said, it's like you knew I was reading a book concerning that.
Wow. Wow.
So
I love
imagine that.
how God aligns things. That's amazing. What's the name of the book?
7 Secrets to Success.
Oh, and it's by Matt who?
Morris.
Wow.
Morris. And I bought this book from last year and I took it up and decided to read it. And it's so interesting. I don't want to put it down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
I'm
talking about his goals and what he did when he was a young man, how he wrote down everything he ever wanted in life. And I think he has achieved every one of them. He wrote down about 12. I think he has achieved every one of them.
wow.
And I believe so. And he says when you're gonna write down goals, put down the date
Mm.
as if it happened already. Like by October 29th, 2024, I will be so and so.
Mm.
As,
Nice.
as
Nice.
if it happened. Mm-hmm.
So he's not saying it will happen. He's saying it
It is
has happened.
yes, yes,
That's powerful. That
yes, it is. Yeah.
I wrote that down, that book. I have not heard of Matt Morris, but that sounds like a
Yeah.
great book.
Yes, 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 yes. And then I know somebody else who's close to me who said she has done things like that, right? Down said she will achieve so and so or do so and so by such and such a date, and it has happened.
It is powerful to write things down.
But to give a date and what have you, and it happened before or on that date is like you're prophesying to yourself, almost like that. You
Definitely.
know?
Yeah, you are
Mhm.
prophesying over yourself. You're
Mhm.
declaring and you're
Mhm.
bringing it out of your head into the physical realm by writing it
Yeah,
down as a first
yeah,
step. And those details, as you said, the more details you can
yeah.
write down, the better.
Yes, yes, yes,
Date,
yes.
the steps.
Yeah, because yes, he mentioned about strategies and so on. You're gonna do this first, then do this after, and do that, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Do you have a goal that scares you? Do you have
I
something?
do, I do, I do. That's why when you spoke about failure and all that,
Wow.
I know it. Yeah, yeah.
Good.
It's
So good.
like somebody spoke something over my life from last year, and I'm so fearful. And my daughter keeps saying, when are you gonna start? When are you gonna do? You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be this. Don't let fear keep you back. Oh my God. Mm.
So when are you going to take the next step to walking towards that goal?
Well, I've started preparing myself by writing notes, reading books, which had something to do with parenting. So I've started reading some books and to make some notes out of it, so on, so as to reinforce
Okay.
what I know. And I've also used AI too.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm learning to use AI, and I got some information from them. It's all about
Mm.
communicating as a single mother to especially to your teenager, how you communicate with them so that they can pay attention to what you're saying to them.
Wow, that's so good. Just have to give a shout out to you as a single mom, Gloria, and the single moms out there. I was raised by a single mom myself. There's even a time where she was working 3 jobs
Mhm.
because she wanted to send us to a private school because she really believed that education was important.
Yes.
And if you're a single mom and you're listening, I cannot imagine how tough it was. I saw my mom, cry. I heard her cry in the bathroom at times.
Mhm.
But I do believe that God was there for her. She shared stories about miraculous things that happened when she thought that she was at the bottom of the barrel. And
Mhm.
I just, yeah,
And
I
then
pray for
and
the
then
single moms
too,
out there. Hang in there, single moms. You're doing it.
then
You can do it.
my mom also said that God uses some things to bring miracles. Like for instance, in the Bible, this lady who was a harlot, he used her to bring and things like that. So doesn't always go by the normal channel, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I love how you brought that out. If it's the same story, I'm thinking of Rahab
Mhm.
was it seemed like she was a prostitute and
Yeah.
she was like a madam and she
Yeah.
had an elevated status as
Mhm.
a prostitute, and the
Mhm.
2 spies from Israel came and she saw them,
Mhm.
and she knew everybody had heard about their God,
Yes.
and
Yes.
she's like, I'm gonna hide you
Mhm.
and just save me and my family. So she had a huge faith,
Mhm.
and that's what happened. They said, hang that red cord outside your window, we'll
Yeah.
save you and your family, but you got to get your family all in in your house. We're not going to go everywhere. Get them in your house, we'll protect you. And that woman
Mhm.
is a great 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 grandmother of
Mhm.
Yeshua, of Jesus. So
Mhm.
not only did miraculous things happen, she is actually in the family lineage of the Messiah. How mind-blowing is that?
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. And like for instance, the boy with the bread and the fish didn't know that that would feed so much people, but God
Yeah,
blessed it and it fed all those people.
that's
Yeah. Yeah.
such good references, Gloria. And there are times too, aren't there times where we felt like we don't have enough to get to the end of the month.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
But somehow, God provides in those moments.
Mhm. Yes.
And,
Yes, ma'am. It does.
yeah. And I like to say that there's a saying, God won't give you more than you can handle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I disagree with that. I
Mhm.
think God will allow things to happen in your life that are more than you can handle, so you can turn to Him because He can handle it. He's just
Yeah.
waiting to be there to love you and to serve you through that, and to show you that you don't have to do it all in your own strength.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, I like listening to philosophies and being sort of contrarian. I like looking at all sides, but
Mhm.
I do believe that God allows us to go through things that are too much for us to handle, that we
Yes.
cannot handle in our own strength, because He wants to come right alongside us.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And I think if we go through things that are hard, it will help to elevate us. Because just recently I was thinking about when I was doing nursing. I I wanted to do nursing all my life, and I'm thinking about the first interview I ever did for nursing back home. First I went to do the test. I passed the test, so I said, okay. I felt like I had arrived, as we call it. But the interview, oh my gosh, it was very tough. And that lady, Miss Honey, I never forget that name. She was no honey to me at all. She battered me in the interview. She
Wow.
battered me because I went to call it a name brand school. And when she saw the subjects I got, I didn't have the biology, I didn't have the chemistry, I didn't have the physics. So how dare I wanted to do nursing?
Mm,
And she turned me down.
wow.
She turned me down. I felt so bad. I didn't feel like doing anything else for the rest of my life, apart from the job that I was doing. At the time, I had a government job, but I still, nursing was in my heart at that time. Not until when I came Canada that I had the opportunity to try again. I tried twice. The first time, the first try was I did one complete semester. I failed one subject. So the second semester now, they were very hard. If I fail anything, that's it. And that was it for me. I failed calculation of drugs. So I was kicked out. I bawled. I didn't cry. I bawled. One or two students who knew me said, oh, you can always find something else to do. And then eventually one of the students who I met at the school, we continued being friends even after I left. And she told me of an opportunity that came up. And I tried that and it worked. I went and did the test again and all that. And I started in a college this time. So a much higher institution than where I was. And yes, I had my trials. I said, how am I gonna pay for the course? I'm working full time. The classes is in the evening. How am I gonna get through? And I asked for time off. I didn't tell them what I was doing. I just said I have the opportunity to upgrade myself, and the time I will be away such and such a time. It's like I didn't ask them permission. It's like I tell them I'm gonna go. And that was what happened. I got the time off. Of course, I got less pay. So there was a struggle there, but I persevered until I came to the last class, which was the clinical. I had 2 more clinicals to do. My brother passed away, and so I was gonna do an exam the Monday. My God, I couldn't open my book to study. I couldn't. I failed that exam. Quickly, I went and signed up again for that subject. I passed it. Then I had a space of 5 months to sit down, not doing anything. And they said, oh, the exam you did previously, it will be a year, so you have to do over that exam again. I said, oh my gosh, that's gonna keep me back another 3 months again. And that is what happened. I went, I did the exams, and I failed. I said, okay, that's it for me. I'm gonna go any further. I had 2 more clinicals to do, and then to do the exam for nurses. So, but I'm still glad I did it because I didn't know I could have read so far in it, knowing that I didn't have the chemistry and the chemistry and the physics. I only did chemistry and physics like up to grade 10. The next class I could do as an adult was grade 12. And to me, that was too much of a big space. I would have to, I didn't know of any place that was teaching the grade 11. So, yeah, but I'm glad when I sit down and I think how many subjects I did for nursing, I said to myself, oh my gosh, about 20 odd subjects, and I passed all of them. I only had problem with one. And I was working.
Wow.
I didn't get to study as much as some people did.
Right,
I
right.
wasn't really in the health field like some people who are like PSW and so on. They're doing the work every day, so they know the work from A to Z very well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And even during that time, I had to go. There were 2 clinicals I had to go to. The teacher was very, very, very tough on me, but I did pass it.
Wow. Do
The
you
same
regret?
teacher.
Do you regret
No,
anything?
no, I don't. I have the experience and I know how hard I can work now. That proved to me because all along, because my younger sister, she's the one who know the physics, the chemistry, the biology, the this, the that. I'm saying, but she got all the brain. She got all the brain. I didn't get anything much. That's what I keep telling myself. I keep looking down on myself as if I couldn't do anything.
Mm,
But then when I see what I achieve and I went back to school and so on, and when I go to school, those classes are only for 6 weeks. It's not 12 weeks, 6 weeks.
mm.
6 weeks. And I have to be there every day. And I see
Wow.
what I could do. I said, I'm no dunce. I just needed encouragement. That's what I needed, encouragement.
Yeah.
That's what I needed. Mhm.
That's a powerful testimony. And no matter if somebody has the brains or if studying is easy, the hard worker will outperform the person that has the brains and the talent.
Mhm.
Because, you know, people rely on, oh, yeah, I'm smart enough, I could do it. But every time, if you have a work ethic like you have, and the things you learned, and I think it's especially powerful about what you said about I just need encouragement. And um, I don't know how much encouragement you had during that time, but
Mhm.
that breaks my heart. And as a mom and as a tutor in the community for 15 years for students,
Mhm.
that I think is the number one important thing is encouragement, speaking life and
Mhm.
speaking life and speaking life over people.
Mhm. Yeah.
It is powerful. It's almost like a way of good brainwashing. And
Yes.
as moms, you know, we're both moms. There are many moms in our group listening, and I think moms tend to be a little bit better at the encouragement, and sometimes the fathers want
Yeah.
to say, "You didn't do that right. You didn't do that right. You need to be a man."
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, and we do need to know what we did wrong and how to get better. But I try and say 10 encouragements for every one criticism, and it
I
is
will
changing.
I will say I know you can do better. I know you can do better. That's what I will say. Because even then I had a classmate who I encouraged to join with me and do the nursing. She went ahead and did it. Both of us work at the same place. I would call her and said, okay, let's go to the library and spend some time to study because we have an exam coming up. Oh my Lord. She would come. But within 15, 20 minutes, she said to me, oh, I know this, I know this, I know this, I know this. And she went home and leave me
Mm,
more than once. I said,
wow.
imagine that. We are supposed to be working together. I didn't hide anything from her. I share with her because she would never, ever have heard about that
Wow.
because it's something like under the table. This person worked at the nursing home and she told me that this opportunity is coming up and people from her workplace are being asked if they want to go into nursing and this is how you're to do it. And I went and shared with this person.
And
She would,
she didn't turn around and help you. She just took what you were sharing and then she was like, I got what I needed. Bye-bye.
I mean, she came to the library, yes, says she's studying, but within half an hour or less. I say, can we go through this? So and so and so. And she would say, oh, I know this. It's not for her sake, for my sake. Help me.
Yeah.
Help me. She never did.
Wow.
But you know, I say, well, it's okay. Sometimes she give me a ride back to work after I finish the class, so it's okay. And many times she would say to me, you know what? I have a headache. And where she live is within walking distance from the college to her home. And she would say, I have a headache, I'm going home. She go home. When I reach work, taking the bus
Hmm.
and reach work, she's already there.
Wow. Wow. You
She's
know,
already there.
it just goes to show you, and again, I hear this so many times,
It's
the
already there.
people that you surround yourself with
Mhm,
have an impact on your success. And this
mhm.
person does
Yeah.
not seem like they were
Mhm,
that they were more of a taker than a
mhm.
giver.
Yeah. Mhm, mhm.
So we
That's it.
those things. Well, it's just about 9, and
Yeah.
I'm going
Mhm,
to close out. Gloria, I want to thank you for being here, and I just want to say, from your story and your power and your perseverance and your attitude and you raising an amazing young woman in your household
mhm,
who has impacted my life as well. Monique, I don't know if she's around. Give her a hug from me when we get off.
mhm,
But you are an amazing person, Gloria. You have a huge heart. You have strength. You have perseverance and so much wisdom. So I just want to say that my takeaways are, we're stronger than we think we are.
Yes.
Number one. Number two, we need encouragement and we need to give encouragement. We need to, if we want people to speak life into us, we need to speak life into others and point out, you did this well, you did that well, I'm proud of you. Look at what you did here, and celebrate the sprouts and encourage the sprouts in others. That would be point two. And point three from you, Gloria, would be, you have to surround yourself with people that are going to hold your arms up. You've got to surround yourself with people that are going to encourage you. And you were really close. Obviously, you guys were in the same program and you were studying, but this person was not the caliber that you needed. We need to be givers to others, but we also want to surround ourselves with people that are also going to give back and not just be a taker, because that way we all rise up. So thank you for sharing. And I feel like we had two powerful sessions in one tonight. Um, so if you're watching, please leave a comment below. Please give a like to this video. Share it if you received something that is helpful. And much love to you, Gloria. Say hi to Monique. And thank you, everybody, for joining us.